Actor, rapper, director, writer, comedian, producer. Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, is a man of many hats. After a hiatus from the film and TV screens to focus more on his music, Glover returned to Hollywood in a major way with the release of his long-awaited FX series, Atlanta. A show profiling the lives of Earn Marks, a young, struggling former college dropout and father, his on-again, off-again girlfriend Van, his cousin Alfred, or Paperboy, a drug dealer who stumbles into local internet fame with a viral rap video, and Darius, Paperboy's best friend. The show received critical acclaim, with Glover and the crew receiving numerous awards and nominations. With its unique humor, surrealism, and social commentary, Atlanta is one of a kind. But where Atlanta arguably shines the most is the manner in which it simply and subtly provides insight and commentary on the complexities of Black identity.
I'm a 35-year-old white man.
Leading up to the release of the show, Donald was quoted saying that the thesis for the show was kind of to show people how it felt to be Black, and you can't really write that down. You kind of have to feel it. So this begs the question, what is it like to be Black? According to Atlanta, it sometimes depends on who you are. There's so many materials, books, think pieces, and videos that discuss the history of stereotypes and their effects on marginalized communities. But at no point does Atlanta beat you over the head and harp on every single issue that arises from these misconceptions. The stereotypes are subtly shown, and the viewers are left to connect the dots on their own.
Wipe the bar for greatness.
Because whiteness is blankness. It's because they look at it as a blank slate. Like when you come in, you can be anything. Like when I walk in, even if I have a bow tie, they might be like, is he Muslim? They're not gonna do that with a white dude. Like white people are a blank slate. We are not. People bring stuff to it because there's not a lot of us. So they only judge us on the 7 or whatever they know. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Glover goes on to say that as a Black person, I constantly have to know what a person is assuming about me. Every character, in some way, is either confronted with their own identity or comments on it at some point throughout the first season. And the interesting thing is that these moments are usually presented in such a way that if you aren't thinking about it, you may miss what just happened. Let's start with Earn. One of the moments Earn is confronted with his identity is in episode 1, when he visits a local radio station looking for a way to get Paperboy's song on the radio. He runs into an old friend of his, Dave, who begins to tell him a funny story. However, an issue arises when he has a very problematic choice of words.
So I calmly pulled him aside and I was just like, really, nigga? You actually said that? Yeah, man, I had to. Cool.
There's multiple things going on at one time here. Earn, given his profile, is perceived as little to no threat because he doesn't fit the stereotypical notion of Black men, which is that they are usually violent and to be avoided. Because of this, Dave feels a sense of freedom, consciously aware that had he used the same language around a typical Black man, he may not get away with it.
I gotta pay rent tonight and my parents won't let me in the house. It's like those drug commercials, only not funny.
Man, you know how niggas out here are. I mean, he usually charges a full suit. What's up, my dude? What's up, bro?
Hey. That guy ever say nigga around you?
Yeah, right. I break my foot in his ass.
Right.
With Paperboy, it's a little different. Essentially, he's the opposite of Earn on the exterior. At no point is his Blackness ever in question. In fact, it's the very common stereotypes following him and other Black men that make him reconsider who he really is.
Paperboy. Yeah, I heard about that shootout you had on Twitter. You one of the last real rappers, man.
Thanks, man.
For him, rapping, selling drugs, and getting into violent altercations are traits that are usually expected. He's constantly put in a position where he's reminded of what people think of him and having to make a decision on whether to continue feeding stereotypes.
But it's good to see a rapper that would just blow a nigga brains out on the streets. That's that 90s shit, B.
The opening scene of the series showed Paperboy getting into an altercation that ends in gunshots. While for some this is something that wouldn't be glorified, for Paperboy, it actually gets him more attention.
Hey, you're that nigga that blew the other nigga's brains out. Cool.
Throughout the first season, Paperboy finds himself in positions that fit his profile, but it's clear that he still feels like there's more to him. Seemingly forced to maintain his rapper persona and lifestyle, Paperboy is forced to navigate through a life where perception is his reality. Van is tasked with coming face to face with the stigmas of a black woman. A young black working mother with an unstable income, Van is burdened with wanting more out of her life while staying true to herself in the process. She's faced with this in two instances, the first being a night out with an old friend.
You used to make fun of girls like you. You realize that, right? No, I'm serious, Van. You really need to think about your value.
I'm sorry?
Like, what is your value?
But what are you asking me right
Like,
now?
why are you messing around with this broke-ass nigga? Like, you...
Whatever.
Van?
I know what my worth is. I don't want to be out here dating a million football players. That's your style.
Hey, look.
Jade, who has chosen the life of a professional sports wag, encourages Van to value herself, implying that black women inherently don't possess value naturally and need to jump through hoops and meet a certain standard to achieve it. Later in the season, at an interestingly themed cocktail party, Van is forced to put on a face once again in order to fit in with the black elite in the city. Enduring an afternoon of discomfort, Van must deal with being unconsciously told what and who she ought to be to get ahead, and how her life ought to play out. And, like many other black women in society, she also feels the need to stay strong in these situations and not show any emotion, fearing what the reaction may be if she shows visible signs of weakness. The pace and the writing of Atlanta never allows us to process any of this at any given moment, because the story quickly moves on to something else. The Atlanta team breaks up these very real moments with humor and surreal situations. The viewer's attention is taken away from the content of these situations and shifts their focus to something different. It's only when viewers go back and let these moments sit that they realize that there are elements of real life sprinkled in throughout every episode. And sometimes, these messages just get missed completely, falling on deaf or distracted ears. And if that seems tiring or even sad, then that's because, well, it can be. But then again, that's also what it's like to feel black. Thank you for watching. Talk to you guys in the next one. Later.